Hey guys, how you doing? Today I want to talk about CPP and inflation and how inflation affects CPP and how much you're going to get. This came about after Chad had done his video, sort of showing why 65 wasn't the right age to take CPP, because if you take it at 64 or 66, it's always going to break even better than taking it at 65, which was sort of just a strange thing that he found. And then I thought, well, we should probably take this one step further and look at inflation, because what you have to imagine here is, okay, so you're getting an enhancement by each year that you delay after 65. You're getting a reduction if you take it before 65. But CPP goes up with inflation. If you're receiving CPP now, you understand, yeah, we're getting more every year because it goes up with inflation. And so if you delay, you're going to be getting 42% more at 70 than you were at 65. So you're also getting an inflation increase on an enhanced amount. So what does that actually look like? And please know that I'm not telling you that this is how you're supposed to time when to take CPP. This video is for information purposes only. There's so many other factors that go into deciding whether or not and when you should take CPP. And I'm actually going to show you how we've kind of been wrong all along with our ideas about, when the perfect time to take it is, how the proper meltdown strategy is. Because I actually have software now that tells us, based on your circumstances, which account should you draw out of, in which percent, when should you take CPP, when should you take OAS to maximize your retirement income or your estate. And those are going to be two different numbers, and I'll show you some examples of those soon. I just want to come up with a good one that, can help a lot of people understand, and then we'll show that video. But so here I'm going to walk into my Excel charts. I'm going to show you what I did. If you think that I'm wrong or my math is bad or whatever, let me know. I mean, I make mistakes. I'm a human being, but this is what I thought, and this is where I came up with it. So this first chart is showing, okay, this is the CPP amount that you would get in 2024 if you were going to get 100% and you were 60 years old. So the maximum amount you could get if you were 65 in 2024 is $1364.60. Theoretically, if you delayed till 70, then you're going to be getting $1937.73. And if you're 60, you could take it today and get $873.34 per month indexed to inflation for the rest of your life. Well, what you need to realize is that if you're 60 in 2024, then you're not going to be 65 until 2029. So the maximum amount you're going to be able to get in 5 years is going to be higher. And everything's based on 65. So if you turn 65 in 2029, well, now if you delayed, you could be getting $21.49 if you were 70 on paper, but that's not actually true, because if you waited till 70, it's still going to be going up with inflation, as well as getting the enhancement from the delay. So if you are 60 today, you could be getting 873, but if you delayed, you might think you would be getting 1937, but that amount should actually be closer to $2,400 per month, or $2385.34. Now, my inflation numbers are based on 2.1% in both of these charts. So please know that. Obviously, that's just a guess, and that's what FP Canada is telling us to use for inflation right now. So that's why I'm using that. All right. So now let's look at the other sheet, which has way more numbers, but that's where the original values come from. Well, now we've got, you're 60 in 2024, and you're going to be getting $10,480 per year. The bolded in yellow is that year is the best year that you could have taken it, right? So if you're 60, you take it. There's never going to be a better option until you're 68. So if you pass away before 69, you were best to take it at 60 no matter what. We are not taking into account that you are taking this out and investing it, okay? Because that is a totally different, totally personal calculation where what's your tax rate? How much is left? Then you have no idea how you're going to invest or what you're going to make. You can make some assumptions and say, well, I'm going to get 11%. Yeah, and you're going to have 100% of the CPP money after tax. Well, sure, great. But most people that take CPP kind of need it for their retirement income. So when that's the case, then you're trying to build it in so you have a really safe portion of index to inflation money that will last you for the rest of your life. All of the blue starts to beat 60, right? So anything that's in blue, that's showing you that that was a better option to take it based on cash paid out to you. That's it. It beat 60 based on cash paid out to you. And now where 70 becomes the best option in this case is at age 83, as you can see here. So now taking it at 70 any year after 83 would have theoretically been the best option based on just how much money was coming in. And now we're also looking at, so I just did in green, like every 5 years, how much more money you'd have taking it at 70 over taking it at 60, starting at age 80. So if you live till 80, you'd have $84,000 more paid out to you over those 10 years rather than the 20 years that you started receiving it at 60. Now it starts adding up because now the inflation is really enhancing it. So at 85, you've got paid out $180,000 more. And at age 90, almost $300,000 more in your genes to pay for things. So, that's not too bad, right? If you took it at 60 and you live till 90, you've been paid $451,000 over the 30 years. If you take it at 70 and live until 90, you've been paid $745,000 over 20 years. And the same thing happened with this chart as did with Chad's in his video about CPP and timing it, was that 65 is never actually works out to the best age. There would be like a month or two in there, I'm sure, where if you really broke it down into months, where 65 would be there would be a perfect break-even point. So, like, let's say you take it at 67, now your best age to live to is 77, 78, 79. That's where, that was your best option. So if you know for a fact that you're going to die at 79, you're probably going to want to take CPP at 67. So just generally speaking, it doesn't work very well to take it before 65 unless you need it or you know that you don't have a heightened life expectancy. There are certainly reasons. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, take it, do whatever. But if you really need CPP and OAS to make sure that your retirement is going to last, then hopefully you can find a way to at least wait till 65 because it's going to pay a lot more over the years and you're going to be better off financially in your later years. Now, I know people are like, we need the money now, whatever, but that's also what your own personal savings are there for. You can take some of that, use that in the early years to have a good retirement, and then have this with CPP and OAS at a later date. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. You know, a lot of numbers, obviously. And like I said, so we have this new software program that I'm going to show you that says the perfect date to take CPP at, and very rarely does it show us to wait until 70. So that's sort of an interesting piece of information that I wanted to pass on. Was, you know, in a lot of cases too, where we're like, you know, you should do an RSP meltdown and delay and all these things, and then you run the math against a million different scenarios, and it says that that actually wasn't the one to do. So the thing about us and learning about these things on the channels and the other channels out there is we're all really sort of self-taught and teaching each other, whereas we've never done a course. There just isn't one that I know of that was like, this is how you perfectly calculate these things for people. So we were just trying to do the things that we thought were right by averaging taxes out over time, you know, delaying if you can, having this enhanced CPP, doing whatever with OAS, trying to avoid clawback, trying to invest properly, all these things. And sometimes there's a huge difference. And sometimes, you know, a client of mine that I ran today, he's retired and he's 60, and, you know, we were talking about, you know, delaying and melting down his RSP, and then you run all the scenarios next to each other, and basically it doesn't matter what he does, nothing is going to make an impact either way. So he could do whatever he wants, and he's in what I like to call an unbreakable situation, where that's where you want to be. Anything could happen, you can make any choice, and it's not going to negatively impact you so much that you're going to fail. Obviously not possible for everybody to be in that scenario. And when you're not in that scenario, that's actually when financial planning is more important, because you have to get more things right than wrong. And that's really what you're trying to avoid. That's really what, you know, the initial intake and the initial financial plan is all about when we do them, is that we're going to find your biggest mistakes and say, you cannot do that anymore. You need to fix this mistake, because that thing can cost you your livelihood in retirement, and we don't want to see that. So anyway, hope you learned something. Hope you thought this was cool. If you think that I made a mistake or want me to change something or whatever, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to get yelled at in the comments as well. We really like that. You know, everybody's got very strong opinions about when to take CPP for everybody somehow. And that's just not the way it is. Everybody's different. That's why you cannot give blanket information to anyone. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. Cheers.